So I have an upcycling video for you today, and I got started on this video. I was gonna do it one way, and then I had some malfunctions. First off, in the middle of spring, this beautiful gin bottle here, in the middle of spraying it, my spray can broke. So I said, okay, well, that's that. So then I said, well, maybe I'll cover it with a placemat. I've got this really pretty natural fiber placemat, and I said, maybe I'll use that and cover it and do something fun with that. Well, I started cutting the placemat and it fell apart. So I said, okay, I really want to upcycle this bottle. It was a gin bottle. I love the shape of it. I love how there's no ridges here, you know, so it's just a really nice, it looks like a decorative bottle that you would like buy. So I said, I really want to upcycle this for Christmas, so what can I do? Then I remembered I had tissue paper, and I was like, I have tissue paper. And not only do I have tissue paper, I've got Mod Podge. So I was like, oh, I've got this. Okay. So now, let me tell you, if I start doing this and this doesn't work out, I think we're just gonna have to recycle him. Okay, or try to anyway. All right, so what I'm gonna do is, and it's gonna get a little noisy, I'm gonna crinkle this up. Okay, so I got them all crinkled up. And I'm just going to start tearing him in pieces. Just going to start tearing him in pieces. I'm going to use the whole piece of tissue paper. And I'm just going to start putting some Mod Podge on this bottle. Now, you may have been thinking, why didn't she just leave the bottle clear? The reason for that is the goop that they use, the glue that they use to put on the label of the bottle, it would not come off. I tried Goo Gone, I tried nail polish remover, I tried Dawn dish soap, I tried a razor blade, I tried scraping it, I tried everything, guys. The glue was not going anywhere. So I said, well, what if I use some glitter spray and spray it, and then that will camouflage the glue, right? That was my thinking process. Well, then, like I told you guys, my my spray can broke, and I'm like, I just bought it. So I said, oh no. So I guess the little thing that you push down on to get the spray paint out just broke. So I said, okay, well, that's not going to work. So then I decided, how can I cover this jar? This jar is so pretty. I really want to use it. How do I cover it? And then I was like, oh, I have tissue paper. And I said that would probably do really well because tissue paper is so thin. And so I'm going to put multiple layers of tissue paper on here. And I said that'll be really pretty because I can put lights inside of this jar, and because the tissue paper is so thin, the light is going to come through so pretty. It's going to be like a muted light. And I just said that's going to be really pretty, especially for the holidays. So remember I told you guys that sometimes if things don't work out, don't give up. Try a couple different things. Try going a different route. It will work out one way or another. So I'm going to add another piece of tissue paper to this bottle. I want to cover the whole thing. And it's okay if it's more covered in one section than the other. Tissue paper is very thin. That's the look that I'm going for. I'm not trying to make it even and perfect. I kind of want it to look like a nice, pretty, rustic little bottle. Wintry little bottle. So I'm going to tear this. And I'm just going to keep building. I'm just going to keep layering this white tissue paper onto this bottle. I want to try to get it to lay down as flat as I can. And when the lights are in, you'll get to see all these different layers and patterns of the tissue paper. I have never done this before. I've seen where other people have done stuff like this, but I have never done this before myself. So I could not, I could be doing it all wrong and I wouldn't know. But it looks like it's going to turn out okay. And I like to try new things with my crafts. And that's how we discover what works and what doesn't. Okay. So got a little yucky on there. I'll get him off. And again, trying to make the paper as flat as I can. I don't want to push down too hard because tissue paper is so delicate. You don't want to rip it. You don't want to mangle it up too badly. So let me bring some of the Mod Podge up here. Now I am going to have my videos at a different angle here soon, guys. I'm getting my other camera fixed. I accidentally knocked it over one day, and I broke one of the legs so it doesn't stand up straight. So I am getting that fixed here very soon. So I'm just pushing this down. As you can see, I'm just pushing it all down. If I don't think it's gonna lay down nicely, I'll just rip it. There we go. And see, he's bothering me, so I'm just gonna rip him down. I don't like that. Okay, oh, come on. You know, I thought I was gonna have to use the whole tissue paper, but I don't think I have to. Maybe I will. I'm not sure. I thought I had to, but this is really going on nicely, so I might be able to use that for something else. But this is actually turning out quite nicely. I like when that happens. Not everything has to be terrible when things don't work out. Sometimes they work out differently and it works out for the best. So if you're crafting, guys, and things aren't turning out the way you had originally envisioned, don't lose hope. Sometimes it happens for a reason, just like in life, and it actually turns out for the best and it works out better than you thought it would. Don't know who needed to hear that today, but in case you did, I'm glad that you're tuning in with me. I'm glad you're tuning in with me to begin with, but you know what I mean. If I can offer you some words of inspiration to better your day, then that's just gravy. That's just all the better. Okay. That's what we got so far. And I think I am going to add on a little bit of another piece. Now, I really thought that I was going to use the whole tissue paper because I've never done this before. but it doesn't take that much tissue paper at all. So maybe just a couple more pieces. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. And I'm looking as to where it's a little thin. So it does look a little thin over here compared to the rest. So I'm just going to add him on here like this. There is no right or wrong way to do this, guys. Just letting you know. This is actually a lot more fun than I thought it would be. Oh wow, I'm having a, this is really great. Why haven't I done this before? It's funny. All right. Just gonna get more Mod Podge on. And I've done it a couple of times. Don't push down too hard because you will rip the tissue paper and we don't want to do that. We don't want to rip it. Just have to go over it nice and lightly. I just get a little overzealous sometimes. And I'm trying to go in one direction with my painting of the Mod Podge. I was kind of going all over there for a second, but then I said, no, Holly, go in one direction. It'll dry so much nicer. So just gonna have to fiddle with it a little bit. You know that we like to fiddle on this channel. We fiddle with ribbon, we fiddle with bows, we fiddle. Should be my caption. A description of my channel. We don't know when to stop fiddling with things. At least I don't. Okay. So let me thin this out a little bit. And I want to wrap him around. You can do as many layers as you want to with this. Maybe I will use the whole thing. I'm not sure. Maybe I will. But this is a nice way, if you have an attractive bottle that you really like and that you want to upcycle, guys, but say you just can't get some of that goopy glue off of it, there's lots of ways that you can camouflage it. You can spray it with the glitter spray, or a textured spray, I should say. You can find, you know, like some fabric to wrap around it to try to camouflage it if you can. Even some burlap, some of that thick burlap ribbon would work out well. Or try your hand at decoupage and tissue paper. I think this is going to turn out really pretty. I hope. It looks like a really nice textured bottle. It almost reminds me of when, you know, you were a kid, and hopefully you didn't, but many of us did. Like we broke our arm or something, and it was like the white cast material that they would just, you know, how they would set your arm and they would wet it and then wrap it over the cotton. Like they would wrap the cotton on first, then they would wrap the cast material on, and then you had to wait for it to dry, but it dried pretty fast. I broke my arm in 5th grade. So I know. Yeah, I broke my arm in the 5th grade, and it was my right arm, and I'm right-handed. So I had the joy of learning how to write with my left hand. So the good thing about that is I can write with both my left hand and my right hand. And it looks pretty decent. And it was done out of necessity. They said that I could type if I wanted to, but I kind of figured that's gonna take forever. I didn't know how to type in 5th grade. I didn't have a typewriter. I hadn't typed ever in my life. And so when they said, well, you can type, I was like, no, I'm gonna learn how to write with my left hand. And I did. So that's that. Just gonna try and get some Mod Podge in there so we can make sure this lays down. Come on. There we go. Okay. So I think we look pretty good, guys. I think I'm gonna call it a day here. So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to let him dry. I'm going to save this for something else because I like to save stuff. You just never know what you're going to find you can use it for. Just gonna put this over and get a little clean space over here. I try to clean as I go. So now I wanted to upcycle this little lid. I use a lot of canned jars, canned food for my cats and my dogs. I get my pumpkin puree in a can, and this was a pumpkin puree jar. Hold on, I gotta clean this up so that it won't give me a problem next time I open it. So it's all over my fingers now. Moving on. So all I'm gonna do, guys, is this was a piece of scrap paper that I had left over from a prior video. So I just traced it and then I cut it to fit inside here. Now, whenever you use cans to upcycle or to craft with, please make sure that you're checking to make sure that there are no sharp edges, because they will cut you and it does not feel good. They will give your finger a nice little slice, and that is never good, especially if it's going to be handled by a child or an older person. Please be careful with your cans. Just make sure there are no sharp edges that could harm you or anyone else. So I'm just placing it inside here, just like this. Just going to push it down. Just going to push it down as much as I possibly can. And this is just going to be like a very simple upcycled Christmas ornament. You could save all the lids to your cans and you could make a whole set of Christmas ornaments using scrapbook paper and a little bit of spray paint, a little Mod Podge, some ribbon, and you could just make a whole set of Christmas ornaments for very, very inexpensive. So that was my purpose for wanting to show this to you. So now I'm just going to take this pretty little pipe cleaner, just a silver pipe cleaner. I got a pack of them from Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to use some hot glue. And I'm just going to put it around inside like so. I'm going to bend it a little bit to the shape of the container here. Just going to put him on like that. Just going to get my scissors and kind of push him down a little bit. And these would be fun If you are a preschool teacher, obviously you wouldn't use hot glue, you would just use regular craft glue. If you were maybe an activity coordinator for maybe a senior community, you know, if you do crafts at your church for Vacation Bible School, now obviously you wouldn't use hot glue. If your class or your audience, you know, if it was not appropriate for the class or the audience that you were teaching, you could just use regular Elmer's glue and that would work out fine. I'm just turning it around. And then just putting the glue on like so. Just like we have there. Okay. And I just love to upcycle, guys, and being a former preschool teacher, I know there's a lot of you guys out there who have to come up with, you know, the little crafts for your class, and you know, everyone has the tops of tin cans on hand, but again, make sure they're not sharp. If you were worried about them being sharp, you could just take a large piece of cardboard or foam board, cut out circles, decoupage your craft paper onto that, and you could use cardboard or again foam board. You could do the exact same thing I'm doing now, but you just wouldn't be using a tin can, because if you again were worried about anything sharp on the can, you could use cardboard or foam board. And so if my spray paint, I'm going to try my spray paint again when I get outside. I'm going to try seeing if maybe the little button here was just tired. I don't know, and hopefully it will work, because I wanted to give this a nice glitter spray. So we're going to put him aside for now. Oh wait, how we're going to hang it, I forgot. Let me show you the hanger. So I love this black velvet ribbon, y'all know that. And I said this would be a perfect way to hang this, and it would also give a little touch of elegance to this little craft here. So I'm just putting some onto the back, and I want to make sure I get it in the middle so that it hangs evenly. And then I was just going to do a little bit of, let me cut this straight actually. Cut him straight. Okay, and then I'll just do a little bit of hot glue up here to hold it. And then he is done. And then just a really cute little way to upcycle. Just like you see there. Very simple, but very pretty. And hopefully I'm going to get a chance to spray him. So I'll set him aside for a moment and make sure he's all nice and dry. So I'll put him over there. And our last craft, guys, I'm going to throw this away. We don't need this anymore. But this is our last little craft today, our last little upcycling craft. Now, this was a candle, and all I did was, when it was done, I just put it in some, it was hot water. It wasn't boiling, it was hot. I got all the wax out of it, and then I did put some boiling water in here to get out the wax remnants. I got it all cleaned up. I was able to get everything off of it. This is from my finger. I'll have to wipe that down. But I was able to get everything off of here with some Goo Gone. So Goo Gone does work. It just didn't work on that bottle for whatever reason. They must have used some really high strength industrial glue. But it did work very well on this candle bottle, and I use Goo Gone on a lot of stuff, and it works very well. So I'm gonna have to just wipe that down here in a moment. I got a little glue on it from my finger, a little Mod Podge on it. In the meantime, this is the lid. This is just the lid from this candle. And I took one of those candle, like little small glass candle holders you get from Dollar Tree. And I just hot glued and epoxied him to the top of this candle holder. I mean, to the top of this candle lid. Okay, so this is the candle lid. This is the candle holder from Dollar Tree, and I just hot glued and epoxied them together. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the jar on top just like this. So then now we'll have something that looks like this. And I love reusing these candle jars, and I love upcycling. So this all just kind of came together for me. Now, I don't want to use the epoxy for this today, and the reason being is because it's very, very smelly, and I can't open up my windows today because there's some noise going on outside. So I'm not going to epoxy this. Normally though, with glass and putting glass together, I would use epoxy and hot glue, and I would open up my windows for plenty of ventilation. But again, I got some noise going on outside, so I can't do that today. So I am just going to use some hot glue. I'm sure it will be fine. At least just for the video, it'll be fine. So I'm just putting him on there. And we're just going to let that dry. And then what we have, guys, is this really pretty candle holder. And it looks really nice and upscale. It's just upcycled. And that's why I really love to upcycle. So when everything is dry, I'll come back and I'll show you how everything turned out. All right, guys, so this is how it all turned out. And this is the gin bottle that we used. We took some decoupage and we just decoupaged some really, simple white tissue paper onto it. And I just put some twinkle lights inside. And then all I did was I went into my yard and I got a piece of this evergreen from my yard and I just put it inside of the vase, and I think it turned out really pretty. And then I just tied a simple shoestring bow using some twine. This is the skeleton key from my childhood home. This is the back door key. And so I thought it would be a nice touch to add this to this vase here. I think this turned out really pretty. This is a technique that I have never done before, decoupaging the tissue paper onto glass, and I think it turned out really pretty. But the key is, again, from my childhood home. And then really quick, when I was growing up, we had a whole bunch of evergreens in our backyard, and Hurricane Isabel came through and we lost them all. So it's a little nostalgic for me, so I just wanted to share that with you. Moving on, this is the little ornament that we made using the top of a can. And it was a can of pumpkin puree, and all we did was we got some pretty scrapbook paper with some evergreens on it, and then we just used some of that pretty black velvet ribbon, and we made a little hanger for it to hang onto a tree or a doorknob or wherever you would like to hang a little bit of winter this season. And then all I did was, if you can see, I just took some of that silver sparkle spray paint, and I just sprayed it with a little bit of the silver sparkle spray. Say that 10 times fast, huh? But I think it turned out really pretty and really simple and a nice way to upcycle, because this whole video was about upcycling. And this is just a empty candle jar that we decided to just repurpose. So I just cleaned it, and all I did was I hot glued on the base here, just one of those glass candle holders from Dollar Tree. It holds a taper candle, but I just put the hot glue, and I used the lid of this jar as the base here, and then we just hot glued the jar to the top of it. And what I did was I just used some salt to mimic some snow. You could use sugar if you wanted to, but I had a whole box of salt on hand. And then I just put a Dollar Tree candle inside. Now I had all of this stuff on hand already, guys. I didn't go out and buy anything for these projects. These are just things that I had on hand and I upcycled them. So I hope that you guys really like this video, and I hope I gave you some ideas. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I know, I say that in every video, but I really do mean it. This means so much to me. And I just have so much fun crafting and sharing ideas with people, and especially upcycling. Oh my gosh, I love to upcycle. And I think we did a really great job, guys. I think we did an awesome job today. And I think that, these would look so pretty on a mantle. If you had, a bunch of jars that you're just not using, even if it's like spaghetti jars or something, if you don't have this kind of a vase, you could do the same technique onto just, an old spaghetti jar, and you could just make some really beautiful, free, or at least very inexpensive decor this winter. So I hope I gave you guys some ideas, and until the next video, I just want to tell you that I hope you're having a wonderful season, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. See you later.